live. So, hello, welcome to our BG5 live, also live on Facebook. Yay. We had a little trouble logging in, but here we are. So this is episode number 80, and today is November 24th. And we are a happy bunch with Tuck in the house.
We're here.
Yay. And we have Kris. Hi, Kris. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Glad you're here.
And both Rob and Karen are celebrating a Thanksgiving week. So they are having their very well-deserved week off. And Anna actually had personal stuff coming up just before we went live. So unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but she will probably be attending us more often in the coming week. So you will be able to see her. All right, today we're going to talk about trait number 34, triumph through personal power. And both Tuck and Kris know this trait very, very well. So let's see where we are. So last week, let's see. So we are going through our journey of through transformation and change. And 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago already, we have taken a look at alertness so an instinct for what is beneficial for a group, which was still in the previous one of duality of bonding. So we've taken a look at creative self-expression in identity and direction. We've taken a look at breakthrough in the inspiration function, conceptualization function. We've taken a look at power skills, the 14, the fuel to empower, which was the one we talked about last week. And this week, we're going to talk about personal power. So true personal power, pure unconditional power. And then next week, we are going to dive into focus, which will be my show. No, I have the 9 in my one and only defined strength. And this week, we'll talk about personal power, and both Tuck and Kris have this. So this is also the daily view of today. So what we have in our background energy, and we have quite a bit defined actually today. So the energy resource, the identity and direction, the willpower, the communication and action, conceptualization and inspiration. And these have been here and will be here for quite a while. So anything you'd like to say or add, Tuck or Kris, about what you see show up here for today, besides the 34? No? Well, it's powerful. So just be aware if, 2 motors are defined, and if you're trying to prove yourself, then you know where it's coming from, right? So don't make yourself wrong for it. Could just be the frequency you are amplifying. Oh, wow. We don't have any bullets flying in today. So let's take a look at it. Trait 34, personal power in the energy resource. And as you can see, it's actually can connect to 3 other traits, the 57, the 10, and the 20. So there's actually 4 possible strengths that are in this integration circuitry, and knowing circuitry and the centering circuitry, all individual power, very individual power. And the personal power trait 34 is I think, the most personal trait we have in our design. So power is only great when its display or use serves the common good. This is potent and impressive source of energy that empowers us towards individuation, displaying and celebrating. Though admired and even sought after, your energy is simply not available to others. Selfish energy to be used in service to the common good. And the moment that power is identified with awareness, it is tuned into deeds, which is towards the 57 in the survival instinct. And actually, that's a strength that Kris has defined in her design. And also, it can be connected in 3 ways. So towards personal expression, in the with trait 10 in identity and direction towards personal behavior. Oh, that's actually the identity and direction. Expression, of course, is the communication and the action function in the 20, and towards personal intuition, which is in the survival instinct of 57. Woohoo! So, what do you there? Yeah, I'm just going to give you the floor, both of you, because I have to speak from experience. Who would like to go first? Talk.
I'll start. Kris, you have the whole strength. My 34 goes out and hangs there and waits to be connected. And it's an unconscious activation in my design, and it's in unconscious Mercury. And my life has been about gaining an understanding of how come people take 3 steps back from me when I get excited or when I'm expressing myself. Like inside of myself, I feel clear, I feel powerful. I was loving the bullets over there, Natalie, when they talked about potent force and sought after. And I thought, oh, I feel so good about myself. And then I saw the word selfish and I went, oh, darn. I have had people literally step back from me, like when I'm talking, because of the power of my communication. And as a kid, I was told that I behaved like a bull in a china shop, like a BB in a tin can. And that's been my experience of the 34, and throughout my maturation, all these years of maturing myself, it's understanding how to utilize the power, how to honor my energy resource response in order to utilize that power in a healthy way. Because it can come out in a very, I was going, oh God, I hope we're not on the 3rd line today. Was it the machismo? Because I don't want to come across as a bully, right? So I love that we're in the 4th line today. But that's what I have to say for now. It's really been, I've been a work in progress in learning how to be with my unconscious 34 that goes out there and just hangs, waiting for something to connect with. It's taken a while to understand the power of the expression of that trait. How about you, Kris?
Oh my gosh. When you were talking about that it's selfish, oh my God. So I remember having this conversation with somebody close to me. God, I was probably in my early 20s. And this person said to me, "You're so selfish." Now, this person has the 3420. They do not have the 57. And I remember just being like, oh my God, like it hurt. Like it hurt my heart, because I just thought, wow, that's interesting coming from one of the most selfish people I've ever met in my entire life. But okay, like, whatever. Anyway, did not have the maturity at all or understanding of my design. And it's really just in the last few years that I have understood the potential and the capacity in not just the 34, but this full strength of how intuitive, like when I'm operating in a healthy way, I can tell exactly where I need to put my attention, intention, and energy. And that does not always match where everybody else wants me to put it. And it has taken me a long time to get to a place where I really understand that this is for me, and that when I use this power for me, I am actually a more potent force for good in the world. But when I give this power away, thinking that I have to, or I don't want to be seen as selfish, then I'm depleted. Other people, they're not necessarily depleted. It's just more like I become resentful, and then I'm like, I'm out, goodbye, and that doesn't work well. So we have so many judgments about the word selfish. And what I've really come to understand is that that is part of our, and for many of us, that's part of our design. And it is when it's honored, it becomes selfless, but it's really misunderstood. And I have a quick little analogy that I think of trait 34, and that is, you may have heard me share this before. I know if you've been in foundation or certification classes, you probably heard it. But in the Wonder Woman movie, the more recent one, there's this vial, like the bad guy would take these vials and he would open them up and he'd sniff them, and then he would become like super powered. And I see the 34 as sort of like, we have this little vial of energy that we're wearing. Like, imagine it's my necklace here. And it's this energy that's just for me. It's just my own little vial of energy. But everybody can see it and they want it. They want to go, hey, can I have a little sniff of your really great energy over there? Can I have a hit of that? And earlier in my life, I would be like, oh, sure. Here, have some. And then they'd be like, oh, this is great. And when can I get the next hit of that? And I'd be like, oh, anytime, just really poor boundaries around that. I didn't understand it. And then I started to understand that, oh, this is for me. Like I'm being energized by this. And then I can offer, when I'm in response and it's correct for me, I can offer my assistance then and withdraw it when it's done. And that's been like so huge. So everybody else could like kind of see it and wanted it from me. And then it took me a while to realize, oh, this is for me. You can't have this one. You have your own power. Let me show you where your power is. This one's for me. So I hope that helps.
To me, the word model comes up in that what I heard you say and what people have said to me is, I want what she has. And in the age of moving into individuality and individuation, people have said the same thing to me. You really don't need anybody, Tuck. You could go off by yourself and be happy. And that's really not true. I love being by myself. I love being self-empowered, but I also love to support other people to be self-empowered as well. And so to get that, the strength also is one that supports that self-empowerment, supports that process of individuation. My husband tells me the same thing. Tuck, you are so selfish. However, I wish I was selfish in the way that you are. I wish I was able to hold my power and my energy. Now that's how he sees me. That's not necessarily how I feel all the time. But on the outside looking in, that's how people see me and how I hold my power. And even Lorraine said to me today, you just don't like anybody to tell you what to do or to influence you in any way, shape, or form, particularly when you get going. When I would work back in the day when you sat in cubicles, remember those days? Mm-hmm. When people would come in and interrupt me, like I would be so within myself and so focused on what I was doing, it really would knock me off for somebody to come in and interfere or, attempt to put something in to my process. And then the last thing I'll say, I love this about Design BG5, is that in hindsight, as I learned stuff, I see I've already been doing aspects of my chart for years and years. And the fact that I named my LLC Self-Empowerment Resources just excited me when I got to my design and saw empowerment and self-empowerment as much as I did in there. So I'm one of these people that I feel like so many of us are already living the vibration of our design anyway. And so it's fascinating to listen to these calls and actually see where we're already doing it, or when the energies are available based on these days, when we can see that we are expressing the characteristics, of the traits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, I say it a lot. It's like our design does us, not the other way around. And so it's just, but are you operating in a lower frequency state, the shadow state, an unhealthy state of that energy, or a higher state, a higher frequency energy? The design doesn't change, but our expression and embodiment of the design changes. And so we're always doing us, you could always look back and go, oh, power, that's always been a theme in my life. And an intuitive power, not just power, but intuitive power. And so that, and when people have entrusted my intuitive power, like they would say, oh, well, how do you know that? And it's like, well, I don't know how I know that. So therefore you must be right and I'm wrong. And then it's like, oh no, I have to absolutely listen to myself more than other people. I don't, if I don't listen to a lot of other people, like, so it's also acoustic, because when it connects to that 57. And so like, I definitely have this intuitive sort of like, there's nothing to hear. Oh, there's something for me to hear right now. And I need to listen right now. There's an energy there. There's a piece of information there for me, or whatever, something to respond to. But yeah.
And what I like in what both of you share, and what I think is one of the things when you come to design, when you learn about your design, selfishness and being selfish, it has a negative connotation, and people judge you for it, right? In using this power for yourself. And just this relief that you are designed to hold it for yourself and use it for yourself, and with that empower others to also stand in their power. And I hope you can hear me, because I see you.
My internet,
my internet goes in and out. I'm sorry, guys. So but I think it lifts such a weight off your shoulder, right, for being judged for it, and it actually being who you are, and that you can rise up to it. And alrighty. So let's take a look at the 34-4. You actually have it in the fourth line quality, right, Kris? So that's the quality of today. So that is the influencer. The fourth line quality is always the one that networks and influences. So with that, you can triumph. But of course, there are two sides to it. So it's the freedom in absolute victory to unlimited use of power. So the elevation is the inherent confidence to use power subtly, a tendency in victory to restrain excessive power in favor of more subtle and covert styles. And the challenge on the other end is a lack of confidence that can lead to abuse of power, ego gratification in the unrestrained use of power with impunity, inevitably leading to abuse. Wow. Some interesting words. I don't even know what impunity is.
That's funny, Natalie.
Well, please explain, my dear friends from the United States. They're more international.
You're going to take on impunity there, talk?
Unrestrained use of power with impunity. No. Listen, my husband gave me a set of cassette tapes when I first met him called How to Improve Your Vocabulary. So that tells you where I am on the spectrum.
I love it. Well, I don't know. So the elevation I can say, I could maybe speak to, is that there are times when I know that I don't have to say anything, and something can be conveyed powerfully and subtly. So when I'm in a conscious frame of mind, I can do that, and I'm in an elevated state, I can do that. When I was, and then in the challenge, this is how I interpret it. And of course, it's always something to work on, but it's like, to me, the challenge is that this is where, and I'm going to use this word, it's a loaded word, but I'm going to use it, and we'll see what happens with it. But this is where, for me, the lack of confidence that can lead to abuse of power could get pretty narcissistic. It's where it's like the person lacks so much confidence that they don't see that they have an impact on others. They don't actually care if they have an impact on others. They don't actually aren't even aware of it. And that it's like, what do I want when I want it? And so this would be the selfishness that is not conscious. It's just like, I want what I want, and I want it now, and screw all y'all, like that. And that's where we really start to see that abuse of power, and where people are like, you're narcissistic, And so that's because they're woven together within this trait. And remember, we're all of everything, everybody. Like, we are all the light and higher frequencies, and we're all the shadow and the negative frequencies in every aspect of our design, in every aspect of the design. We have all of it. We are all of it. And so for me, that when I have experienced that kind of situation, it's, right now, I'm just like, I can't really come up with one, because it's, to me, there's so many other aspects of my design. Being a 5/1, I'm always thinking about everybody else. I'm always thinking about the impact of everybody else. Like, I'm rarely just looking at my navel and not thinking about anybody else and how it will impact anybody else. That said, I'm sure there's times where I was just like, I'm out. See ya. It's just about me. I don't care. And that didn't feel great to other people. I'm quite certain that's probably, I'm quite certain that probably happened. Did you see that little, like, I'm quite certain I've actually never done, but possibly, but maybe not. Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna stop dancing around that. Okay.
Okay, so we have some explanations for impunity for those for our international listeners. Impunity means doing something without feeling guilty or having consequences. I think that's the easiest one to understand. Yeah. So thanks all for helping me out here.
Yeah, if 34 in its negative shadow behavior, it feels pushy, it feels forceful.
Yes.
And given that I'll speak for who it is not discerning, whether or not the reaction or the response timing is adequate, effective, useful, I can certainly see where the narcissistic behavior, the pushy, the force, the dogmatic, the dominant kind of behavior would come out in a very personal way. What has a front has a back, and the bigger the front, the bigger the back.
Yeah, right.
I've got a great front and I've got a great back, and they both come out. So I as a 34 know what the expression feels like when I am fully present and in my power and in service to the greater good. And I also know what it feels like to not be present and to respond with my head in the wrong place and come across as a bully and dogmatic, arrogant. So
and just to clarify also, so elevation and challenge is not positive negative. It's just a this and a that, and a spectrum in between which a quality can operate. And sometimes you being a bully, or you having this ego gratification may empower or shake up things or whatever. It may have a function in your life, either in your life or in the one of others, for it to move forward, right? So it's individual energy. So it is here to transform, to mutate, right? So at times, abuse may also lead to another group to stand up and do something about that, and then the world changes, for instance, right? So there's no such thing as, I just wanted to make that clear, positive and negative. It may sound a little bit more negative, but it all has its function, because some people have it defined in just a challenge, which is their role then in life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to share something else. And in fact, I've just remembered this because I've been working on this as it's part of my profit potential. And the another description of the challenge is that a lack of confidence, and the lack of confidence, let's say in sales, right? We're talking about business. So in sales, it's like, oh, I need, I might have an intention to to have a certain amount of sales or something like that in a month or whatever, or to launch something. And if I am not, remember, we're always, for me, this is how I think of it, is that it's always about right timing as well. And that I'm co-creating with the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it. And so sometimes there's this divine timing. And if I have a lack of confidence, either in myself or in the timing of things, like I lack confidence in that I'm offering the right thing, or it's the right timing, or something like that. That's where the confidence, it's not necessarily, it could be in myself. It could be in just the confidence that this thing will work. Right. And just everybody think about this for a moment, and just think about when you have experienced something like this, where you're like, I just got to make this happen. And so we hear about people who are like, go out there and hustle, go out there and push, go out there and
fake it till you make it.
What's that?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Or just like,
yeah.
But there's a bulldozing effect. It's sort of like, you need this, you want this, because they're saying, I need to meet my quota. So I'm going to push this on you because I think I know better what is for you, or I want to meet my goal. So I will push this. And when I was younger and newer to business, and that was the coaching that I received, and I thought I had to do that. Well, I could easily go into that. And now I see it, and I'm like, zero pressure. Like, it is like, it fits for you or it doesn't fit for you. I am not here to pressure, push, or you either want it or you don't want it. And it does such a different experience, because it's not about my ego gratification. It is about what is in service to this other person, and taking into consideration that I have full confidence that if this person isn't the right person, the next person or someone else will be. And if it's now's not the right time will come. And that has been another piece of it. And so that's another way that this can show up. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think that's a great explanation. All right, let's take a look at our celebrity of today. So it's Dale Carnegie, an American writer and lecturer. I don't know if you're familiar with it. He's an American writer and lecturer, and the developer of courses in self-improvement, salesmanship, corporate training, public speaking, and interpersonal skills. And he was the author of How to Win Friends and Influence. This is the influential quality, right? And How to Influence People in 1936 already. So a bestseller that remains popular today. So his life work is evolve, and the evolve in human design terminology is the sleeping phoenix. So you have great personal power and charisma, and are busy attracting others with your busyness. Power and intimacy, when directed by spirit, serve humanity. And as you can see, the 34 is opposed by the 20. So this is actually one of the few strengths that is in opposition in the wheel, through which it always is a strength if you have it in your life work. So this is the busyness, in the sense of this is the channel of charisma that he then has in his conscious life work. So once engaged in whatever he does, nobody can stop him So yeah, do you know this guy or his work?
Yeah, he's very, very, very well known in the United States and in the self-help industry. There's a whole Dale Carnegie Institute. I mean, there's like a whole. He's very, very well known. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting, self-help industry, and then he has this power, the real personal power in his core essence. So yeah.
It's interesting too. I did read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I have to say that and obviously it was written in 1936. I did not finish the book because I was just like, like, for me, I'm sure that there was and maybe it was, I know why it was because I was told to read it by a very narcissistic person. I read it and I was like, ew, because that person was super manipulative. Like, it wasn't genuine. They just read the map of how to influence people, and they used it in a manipulative way. And so I always have this association now, like when I was reading it, I went, oh, this is because for me, I have it. And I'm going, ew, like I don't want to be that, like, to manipulate people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's one of those books that you could use to truly, truly empower yourself and others and influence people for the greater good, or you could use it to manipulate people as a narcissistic, egotistic person. And I've seen both of that. And so anyway, sorry, Dale, but your work has been compromised.
Well, and then came human design in BG5. So right. We have a more authentic way of doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
By design. All right.
Yep.
All right, so let's wrap things up, because I know, Kris, you need to leave early today. So you can download your free chart on the website. So to come with your chart and follow along and see if you have the trait in your design and the strengths and the harmonic traits and etc. when coming to BG5 Live. And also you can get your free report at our website. And look up the theme of the day, which is adjusted every 5 minutes. So you can always see what trait and what quality is in the background frequency right now. And then our new courses are starting in January. So you can go to our website and to see all upcoming courses starting soon in January. All right, so I'd love to ask both Tak and Kris, and then I'll add something myself. What you want people to take away from today's chat or for this week about your personal power.
I'm noticing Christine is asking when the next webinar is. Do we know when that is, Natalie?
Webinar? No, we don't, but it is in December. It will be Wednesday 15th or 16th, something. Yeah, and that will be a fun one. We still need to announce, and then every week we have BG5 Live.
This is a little bit different, Christine. It'll be a little bit more focused. So check it out. It'll be on our website. It's not weekly.
This one is weekly. This one is weekly, and then we have other types of free webinars.
This one's the same time every week. So and welcome. We're glad you're here. And thank you, Leanna. Thank you. For your comments too. She says, love the discussion as always. So thank you. So I'm already rambling. So I'll just say personal power. Notice where people are using their personal power, like in a pushy way. That's one of the things that I've noticed over this last week is there's a lot of like really intense sort of like, there's a difference between being empowered and entitled. So one of the things you might want to watch is, are you activating the empowerment? Are you activating or amplifying entitlement? And to be aware, because true empowerment has nothing to do with entitlement. So just watch that in the world this week.
Yep.
On
top?
I don't know. In the world of partnership and co-creating, and I'm assuming we're speaking to the people who have that, who don't have the trait and are being influenced, particularly today with the fourth line, by people with the 34. When it's flowing in a really beautiful way, those of us who have the 34 are holding our power well and really doing what it is that we love to do in a very self-empowered way. And so I would encourage people to stay present and aware that when they are open and available, they will attract. I make up the healthy expression of that 34 trait. and be able to gain something and ride that wave of power and charisma in a way that allows them to learn a real positive way to use the energy. Because I actually think we're quite triumphant and pretty good today. Yes, Kris?
Yeah, right. I agree. Yes, exactly. Amen, sister. Amen.
Very good. Okay. Well, yeah. So for me, kind of the same, and it was beautiful you're sharing. So yeah, the other thing what I always like to do is also watch around. Yeah. So do you see people like kind of this icky selfishness, or really this empowered selfishness for the greater good, right? So what is it that you see, you know, in the world around you this week?
Yeah.
And Liana says, great keywords, talk, power and charisma, and strategy of Kris. Yeah. All right. So thank you all for being here, and looking forward to see you all next week. Rob and Karen will be back. And yeah, who knows? Talk may be joining us a few more times as well over the course of the next few weeks. All righty. Well, thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.